And hello everyone, and welcome back to week 76 of our Minecraft Let's Play series. How are y'all doing? I hope you're all doing very well this week. So, as many of you may know, 1.21.5 has come out, and, well, that's what most of this week is probably going to be about. Looking at the new features, and fixing the things that broke with them. Because, on our list, obviously, I'm sorry, even though we've got a new update, we're still going to be doing work on the villager hall, because that's going to stop for nobody, but we are going to go ahead and explore, try and find the new blocks and plants like the firefly bushes, the cactus flowers, stuff like that, as well as some new mobs with the warm and cold variants of the passive mobs. And when I talk about things breaking, I mean the gold farm, because the zombie piglins now no longer drop items if they're not killed by a player. So we need materials when it comes to that, and those materials currently are magma blocks, which I will be going ahead and AFKing for off camera, turtle eggs, powdered snow, and 3 beacons, things that we will be going ahead and getting this week. Then, if we have the time, we will go ahead and keep working on our piglin bartering system, doing the input for the gold as well as the redstone, and finally, even if we have more time, we'll possibly work on the jelly statue base improvements by putting some buildings around here, as well as fixing up an ice farm and hopefully having one that actually works. So with all that being said, so we can get along with what I've got planned for this week, let's go ahead and head to the nether so that we can come over here and start moving our 8 villagers over to the villager hall, sending them through the portal like so, and repeating the process for the other 7. And now that we have all the villagers moved into our villager hall, we can go ahead and move them into their new homes. And now that they are all moved in, we trade with them bricks, then stone. Now let's see what stone types they have. And now for the judgment. This guy has green terracotta and pink terracotta with a diorite and andesite trade. This guy has a green and pink terracotta trade with polished andesite and polished diorite. Mainly because I haven't seen many of these rock trades, we're actually going to keep this guy and get rid of this one. This guy has polished andesite and dripstone and lime and black. We do not need either of those colors, so sorry, you're gonna have to go. You have white glazed and yellow. You are a yellow guy who has granite and dripstone compared to granite and polished granite. You know what? I think we might actually do that. So we're trading out magenta for white glazed, or magenta glazed for white glazed. You have blue and brown. Neither of these are colors we need, nor are those rock types I want, so you are gone, sir. You have yellow and orange, rock types that I'm not necessarily too interested in. Neither of these colors I actually need, so bye, sir. You have magenta and light gray glazed terracotta. This guy has diorite and a granite trade compared to dripstone and polished diorite, but I don't think that actually warrants me getting rid of that guy, so goodbye, sir. Diorite and polished granite and white and green terracotta, none of which are things I need. Goodbye, sir. I already have yellow and brown glazed terracotta. I don't even need to look at my notes. Goodbye. You have green and pink. Are you the same one? Oh, wait. I'm stupid. Good lord. So, we didn't get any new villagers today, or we didn't, like, add the total, but we did kind of balance out our rock trades, because if I can show you guys what the list looked like. This is where our terracotta trades are at currently, but not any different from last week's. Here is our glazed terracotta trades, where white was just replaced with magenta, and here are our rock trades, which are actually becoming more balanced than they originally were, because we used to have like 5 polished granite, if I remember correctly. So keeping the balance is, you know, going to be better, because I think we can only have 6 of each trade at max. So but yeah, that is everything I want to do for trading with the villagers. So let's go ahead and head back to our base so we can start exploring the 1.21.5 update. I'll meet you guys there. So what are we looking for with the 1.21.5 update? Well, as many of you may know if you kept up with the news that was going around, we ended up getting a decent amount of plants as well as animals. When it comes to animals, we have the cold and warm variants of chickens, cows, and pigs, and the plants kind of vary in what we can actually find. We can find bushes, cactus flowers, firefly bushes, leaf litters, short and tall dry grass, as well as wildflowers. All all of which are things that I actually want to bring back here so that if I ever want to decorate with them, I can. Do I know where they'll go in the system? Absolutely not, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to find them. So without further ado and without waiting any more, let's go ahead and get started. But the easiest way for me to actually do this is to go ahead and head out to probably the furthest place that we have been. And to my knowledge, that is going to require us going through here into our Pale Garden portal, which is now night. Alright, you may remember us, being here a few times because there's our Eye Blossom farm. But now, with this distance that we have actually traveled, I want to go ahead and see if around here we can find those plants and animals. Also, something else that's kind of interesting with the update is that we now have leaves falling down. I'm not sure if this was already happening with the pale oaks. That might be a horrible example, but I could definitely show you with these dark oak trees. Yep, see, as well as the birch, that every tree now has leaves falling from them. I don't know, just thought it was a nice thing to show off, but let's go ahead and see if we can find some, animals or some new plant types. Now, for those who remember, it took us a long while to find, the Pale Garden, and you may already notice that I already found some leaf piles here that we can easily just pick up and take with us. Oh, and they're like cherry blossoms. There is a 4 or a 2x2 pattern, and I'm pretty sure you can bone meal these too. Never mind, turns out you can't. It's just that these you can actually get from also smelting leaf blocks, which is actually a good way of renewing these resources, so, I'll take it. I am gonna grab, probably 2 stacks of them, though, but, it's a good thing we found this already. Like I said, it's gonna be easier than finding the Pale Garden. Alright, we keep going. Here's something else, actually, immediately. We have a fallen tree here. This is new generation, which I think is cool. I didn't even realize that the leaves can fall on top of it. But yeah, we'll occasionally find some fallen trees, too. Now, technically, if you want to be accurate about the new things added in the 1.21 update, besides all this lag, is that these are temperate cows, as well as... I saw you somewhere over here. Where are you? That's a temperate chicken. They're the same as the usual ones, but now that we have cold and warm variants, they are considered somewhat new mobs. Not really, but you get the gist. Oh, but that's very important. These are firefly bushes. I can break these with pickaxe. So these do actually spread with bone meal. I do know that for a fact, which is great. That means we can go ahead and get more of them if we need it. But yeah, we wanted fireflies in this game. We got kind of what we were looking for. Kind of. Oh, there's more over here too. Nice. And I think that's a bush. That's actually just a regular bush. Yeah. Nice. Now, in all honesty, when it comes to these plants and the animals, honestly, what I'm expecting the hardest ones to find are probably going to be the ones that are in hot climates, or specifically deserts, just because we don't have a desert we know of around here. There's also actually something around in these villages, so I'm going to see if I can find it too. Oh well, I didn't find it, but what you can find in there is... get to you in a second, but we can find in there is the new, well, they're not new, but you find bundles newly spawned in a village chest is what I read up. But up here is our new cow friends. Hey guys, these are the warm climate cows. They got horns and everything. Very cute. I don't think they're any different from the temperate cows, but it's still cool to know where they are. But who knows, I might bring them again back to our home and just have every version of cow, chicken, and pig. Speaking of which, a lot of colors change for sheep where depending on what biome they're in. As you can see, there's a lot of brown sheep here. Why they made that change? I don't know, but I guess that's kind of just a way of making quote-unquote temperate and warm variations. Oh, there we go. Bundle in the chest. Will I use bundles? I am not sure, actually. I don't see reason to at the moment, but I wanted to prove that you can actually get them in these chests. Also saves me from trying to get the rabbit leather to actually make them, so win-win, I suppose. Alright, there's so many villages around here. Oh, here's the desert, which shows us a few things, actually. First off, dry grass. Second off, camel spawn regularly in deserts now. You don't have to go ahead and find them in desert villages. Third off, cactus flowers. These actually go ahead and grow on regular cactus, so our cactus farm now has a dual purpose. Not to mention, you can hear sand, more ambience, and Now, I kind of want to keep looking to see if I can find any of the animals, which is funny because I was not expecting to find a desert in the slightest. This is also a really cool desert, just to be honest. I like it a lot. I don't want to go too far here because I'm going to try and keep myself to the soft cap of 10,000 blocks in any direction. This is also kind of funny because that means we have literally found every version of plant that I listed off of besides the wildflowers. And hopefully we can find those. Those are only found in birch forest, and I'm not expecting that to be necessarily a hard thing to find. I'm gonna hope at least. My game is definitely chugging though today. It is not like the exploration we're doing. I do wonder if I'm going too fast for animals to like properly spawn. I hope not, but you know, I might be. There's a mangrove that should have new fireflies in it. And also, I do actually need the location of the mangrove because the one that I knew of, well, let's just say it no longer has any trees. Oh, there we go. Yeah, wait a minute. Warm chicken. It's a nice orange color it's got, and these guys also lay warm eggs. I'd love to collect some, but that might be for another time. Right now, we got one more warm animal to find, and I think I already found them. Yep, warm pigs. I'm sorry, but you look like you've already been cooked. But yeah, there we go. That wasn't so bad, at least for the warm variants. So now, we gotta find the cold variants, as well as also finding the wildflowers that you can find in the birch forest in the meadows. I honestly think it's really nice that you can find just camels in the wild now instead of needing to find them at a village, because finding them in a village was annoying for the 2x2 advancement. I've also realized it's probably a bad idea to be loading chunks for a desert due to the fact that it's probably dropping a decent bit of sand. This is a huge desert too, which I'm quite happy with. It means if we need sand, well, it might not be a desert anymore. Also, for those curious, yes, you can find dry bushes in Badlands, and you can also find some of the warm critters in the Badlands too. See, I love that kind of terrain generation. I don't know what was happening with some of my other terrain, but it just was not looking like that, so it's good to see that we're actually getting some others. You know, this is also the point where I need to hope that I have enough rockets to do what I wanted to do today, because I didn't think about that. Oh yeah, we should definitely be firing rockets, but maybe the elytras should be the thing I should be worried about. Well, that's an interesting fallen over tree. You got the base log here, and then the logs down there. Oh, birch forest. We might find some wildflowers here. Yep, immediately found some. Alright, cool. And these have the same idea as the cherry blossoms and the leaf piles. As to, you could fill them up in a 2x2 on a single block, and you can bone meal them to get more. Well, again, the leaf piles you can't, but these you definitely can. I mean, they're flowers. Come on. Think these just make yellow dye? Yeah. So, is it good for dye? No, just bone meal sunflower. Is it nice for decoration? Of course. Alright, that just leaves us finding some new cold biomes to hopefully find the cold variants of the passive mobs. I don't know how long that's going to take. I have got no clue where a cold biome is. This is going to be a pain in the butt to get back to our base, but oh well. In the namesake of exploration, we will go further than we have gone before. Or at least try to. This is becoming a lot harder than I thought it would. I think this is the first time we've actually seen it be a birch log that's fallen down. The other ones I think were oak logs. And we're back to jungle, alright, which also gets spotted in warm chickens and the warm biome passive mob. Honestly, where was all this cool generation? Why is it so far out? Now, what are the chances we find like another pale garden while I'm out here too? I mean, I wouldn't need it, but I also wouldn't say no. Though I am starting to get concerned about any lack of the cold biomes, and as soon as I'm saying that, we find one. The taiga is considered a cold biome, so we might find what we're looking for around here. Unless it's one of the smallest taiga biomes I have ever seen. Wow, okay. Well, we'll just hope to find more. Oh, never mind. I almost went away from this. This would have been bad. Don't want to go too far this direction, but yeah, as you can see, black sheep end up being more common in these biomes. Now, can we find the other animals? I hope so. Oh, yep, cold chickens. Very gray, very fluffy. Very cute. I believe they drop blue eggs. Alright, one down, two to go. Never mind, two down, one to go. Very, very fluffy cow. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Stay away from the lava, please. Now, can we find pigs? That is the next question. I guess that's the only question, because the only thing we're missing now, but, you know, I mean, is it just me, or does this look like it's supposed to be a log that, you know, fell? But I haven't seen it, like, you know, a log that fell. It's just the stump, and I don't know why. And sadly, I think that there is no cold pigs around here, so that just means we're gonna have to go ahead and find another one of these biomes, but not before finding one of the fallen spruce trees. Alright, cool. At least we found something else. Oh, wait a minute. Almost spoke too soon. He's here. The cold pig. Nice white. And that is actually everything, surprisingly. To give you an idea of how long I've actually been looking for these, not long. This is still my first pair of Elytra. Sure, it's almost broken. We're definitely gonna swap it out before we head back. But I've been just searching around the world for, I'd say, probably about an hour. So yeah, that was not that bad comparatively to trying to find the Pale Garden. But yeah, let's go ahead. We're gonna head back down to our base. And I don't actually know what we're gonna be doing next, so we'll figure that out when we get there. Alright, I will see you guys back at our base. Alright, now that we're back, before we get started on something else, I wanted to show you guys exactly what we got from our trip with the wildflowers, leaf litter, the tall and short dry grass, firefly bushes, regular bushes, and cactus flowers. And I'm 90% sure, but I do want to just check to make sure, is that if I take these bones, alright, and then we go ahead and walk out here probably and just bone meal this? Yeah. Alright, good. And can I just punch them? Oh, I could just punch them. I was worried about that when we were out there, so I used Silk Touch, but you can just punch them apparently. Might not be a bad idea to decorate with in the future, but right now I don't know where to put them because, I mean, we could technically put them here. That would probably be the best place for most of these to go besides the wildflowers and the cactus flowers because, you know, they're technically flowers, so they'd go into our flower chest. But other than that, I think all of this will go into here, unless I decide otherwise in the future. This might even turn into a light block, and then simply enough the bundle can go into here. But alright, enough rambling because the next thing on our list might be the final thing on our list because it is a large project that I kind of want to see if I can tackle this week. I'm going to hope we can finish it this week. It might be a multi-week project depending on how long it takes because we are going to work on our gold farm. Now, if you didn't see the last week's episode, let me explain to you why we need to make a gold farm because as you may remember, we already have a gold farm in the Nether, or at least had. Because the thing with this farm in its entirety is that this doesn't work anymore because of the fact of how they changed piglins. So the thing is with piglins now, I'm not sure if this works with experience, but the way the farm worked was that they would get entity crammed by minecarts and they would die. Yeah, you can even see that I'm not getting experience from this anymore. And that is because they changed how piglins work to the point where if you are not the one who kills them, then they no longer drop any loot. Now you might be wondering, why don't I just tear this out? Well, this is honestly just because if they decide to change once more, I don't want to tear this out and then have to build it again. So after a certain point, I might go ahead and change this, but for now, I'm going to leave it as is. And for this farm, I have all of these shulker boxes. I think this totals out to being 13 currently, and they are filled to the brim with items that I'm going to need for this farm. Like, besides this shulker box, everything is filled. And even with this shulker box, we're still missing a few items, actually. Now, they're quite easy to describe, at least. They're not easy to get for some of them, because on page 27 of our book, I have written down that we are missing 18 turtle eggs, 8 powdered snow buckets, and 3 beacons. I hate to say it, the easiest one or the less time-consuming one is probably going to be these beacons. 8 powdered snow buckets, I need to find biome again, and then 18 turtle eggs is just going to be a bunch of breeding. And I'm like 90% sure I do have some turtle eggs. Yeah, I have 5. That's not going to be enough. So we need to go out exploring for both turtles and powdered snow. But first, let's go grab some nether stars for those beacons, which should be easy because I have a decent amount of wither skeleton skulls from our wither skeleton farm. Hopefully that never breaks in the future. And then we simply just hop into the end so we can use the portal to fight the withers. There's 1, 2, and 3. And now we can go ahead and make our 3 beacons, and that step is done. Now it's time for us to fly out this direction in hopes of finding some powdered snow, or some turtles. Honestly, I'll take either at this point. Oh, there we go. Here's some turtles. Alright, well, there's 3 eggs. Alright, 2 more. And because I don't feel like waiting for their cooldown to recharge, I'm just gonna leave them alone, and hopefully find some other turtles. Oh, here we go. More turtles. Hey, get back here. You want seagrass, don't you? Oh wait, there's already 4 of you here. Alright, 2 more here, and a single egg here. Now 8, need 10 more. Another one. Ooh, 4 more. Now we're just missing 5. Another one. Honestly, I'm learning that if I just find beaches around warm areas, I think that's where turtles spawn, and they've been spawning a lot. Alright, either these are new chunks, or where cold variations and hot variations of mobs can actually just exist in already rendered chunks, which means I did not have to go that far for the new variations. What is that, 3 more? Alright, we can probably just use one of the eggs that we have back at our base. We don't need to get any more. So now we just need to get some powdered snow. Actually, if there's turtles right here, might as well. Come here, both of you. Alright, now we have all the eggs we need. Now we just need powdered snow. Alright, let's hope that there is some powdered snow on this mountain. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is everything we need for this gold farm to work, hopefully. Well, technically not, but we'll get to that when we get there. For now, let's go ahead and head back to our base, grab the materials, and then head to the nether so we can get started. And alright, so for this to work, we need to be in another waste. But we can't have it too close to this farm, obviously, or else the rates are going to go down very quickly. So I'm going to steal these torches from this build, and we'll use it to mark where we want our other farm. Oh, this actually goes a lot farther than I expected. Alright. And alright, there we go. I've marked out an area with torches now to designate where we're going to be building. So from this point, we're going to be building our farm. And two things. One, we're going to hope that this goes better than the ice farm from last week. However, I have actually looked at the video this time and the comments, and it seems like this farm will work for us, which is good. And also, I believe the way I'm going to start doing these farm montage, or like these farm building montages, is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to be building them mostly off camera. However, I will be giving you guys tiny updates as I go along. I think that's just better for, well, to keep you guys not as bored, but we shall see. So I will meet you guys back with an update. I've also realized an issue that I don't know exactly where items are in these shulker boxes, so time to empty them all out. Alright, first update, we have our tower of nether portals, or soon to be nether portals. This already took a little bit, so time for the next step. Second step was to make a tube that is filled with glass and turtle eggs. I didn't add the one down here though just yet, so that we wouldn't have to worry about piglins, well, attacking them. I don't know if they can attack through trapdoors. I mean, I've got extras. We could probably find out. Let's just hope it doesn't. I'm breaking this progress report into two because I've just started building these platforms, and I gotta build these all the way up to the top of this obsidian tower. I'm going to be here for a very long while. And alright, now after about another, I would say maybe an hour and a half of building, I have all these platforms reaching down to the bedrock layer. Look at all these. And we can already tell that the farm is somewhat working. So let's get to the next step. And that next step was building a large glass platform along with things to stop gas from spawning. So now we can actually go ahead and work in the overworld. And now we build the big bridge thing that I need to build. And now we have a large tube that I can barely see the bottom from. You know, it's also good that I only do snippets of the actual build process, because otherwise you'd be seeing me just place blocks without actual sound, because I currently have a timer going down there for slime blocks, and I do not feel like listening to that. And a small change that is going to be made from the tutorial made by the actual person is that there's supposed to be fence gates up here, but you're supposed to move them 4 blocks down because of the fact that nether portals got changed to where entities now have kind of a delayed timer to how long they have to be outside of another portal to enter another one, so this just kind of helps with that. And just like that, the overworld part is done, at least for the part that the piglins will be going through. Very tall, and there's a lot of water that still has yet to go all the way down back to the ground. And now back in the nether, we're working on the chamber for attacking the piglins. And so it seems I'm missing 2 items currently. I'm missing a piece of sand and a cactus, which actually doesn't bother me as much as you might think it does, due to the fact that I've been working on this farm for almost 5.5 hours now, I believe, and this is the first time I've not had an item, so I'll let it slide. And like that, the chamber is done. This is where we will attack the piglins when they come in. And I believe now we are finally on to the sorting system. And alright, there is our storage system. Not too complex, but enough to sort through gold ingots as well as a lot of gold nuggets, hopefully. But we are not done yet. Nope, not in the slightest, because one thing that I need to do for this farm is there is a problem with it that you probably can't tell just by looking at it. And that is the fact that this farm has the issue of you're supposed to be farming farming up there, and well, basically piglins right here will be able to detect you. We don't want that because it will stop the rates due to the fact that they will just stand there and like try to target you. So we're gonna fix that by placing down 2 trapdoors, one on the blocks and then one on this side, and then we'll probably go down about 22 layers, and that should be enough, hopefully. So yeah, one more thing and then we'll be done. And there we go, all the trapdoors have been placed down to a certain point and all the portals have been lit. So what say you that we try to go ahead and use this farm? So I think theoretically I could just do this. Yeah, this seems to be doing very well. And we gotta be careful not to accidentally hit this too much for the fact that the armor stand might break. So I'll sit here doing this for about 5 minutes and we'll see what our drops are. Alright, let's see what our drops are looking like, shall we? Let's turn this off. And I had to run this a little bit further. Oh, that is an interesting sign down there, but I had to run this a little bit longer than 5 minutes because I messed up, because I accidentally went ahead and, well, let's just say I forgot to turn on the sorting system, so all the items were just sitting up there. So let's see. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. So the sorting system broke a little bit, which does not surprise me in the slightest. So I will have to fix that, but otherwise, honestly, not a bad haul. And alright, so I went ahead and fixed the sorting system, so it's back to just grabbing gold ingots and gold nuggets, and this is actually how much gold we ended up getting just from, you know, like maybe 5 minutes, and that's also with some of them going straight into the lava because I messed up. So that's honestly pretty good. 74 blocks for that much time. That's great, honestly. It's a lot better than our last one, and it will help a lot with our piglin bartering. But sadly, that's gonna have to be it actually for this week. I know it seems like we didn't do much, but let me tell you, this farm took me, I'd say, almost 6 hours to build. And I don't even want to talk about how long it took me to get all the materials for this build. So yeah, sadly we ran out of time because of this farm, but I honestly am really happy that we now have this farm all built up so that we can actually go ahead and get gold again, due to the fact that, as I said, they went ahead and changed the way that piglins work. But nonetheless, we did still go ahead and see what 1.21.5 had to offer with the cold variants of chickens and cows as well as pigs, and the warm variants too. We went ahead and worked upon getting more villagers into our villager hall, obviously, and then we built this behemoth of a farm. So all in all, I say that this is a pretty good week, and hopefully this will allow us to trade a bunch when it comes to our bartering system, which hopefully we'll get to work on in the next week. I think next week will be us going back to our roots essentially and working on all of the things that we had been working on previously before 1.21.5 came out. So yeah, that is all. I thank you all for watching. You guys all take care. Have a great week, and I will see you guys hopefully in the next one. All right, bye bye.